mai, haere mai, haere mai. Ko horahia te whāriki, ki te ihi, ki te wehi, ki te mana, I runga I te marae o te rā. Nā reira, nau mai, piki mai, haere mai rā.
Please sit down. Enya mana, enya reo, enya hui wha. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Vice-Chancellor, Pro-Chancellor, Council members, members of the University, special guests, graduands, families and friends. I extend a warm welcome to this, the 5th Autumn Graduation Ceremony for 2011 of the University of Auckland. This week, the University is bestowing a total of 6,579 qualifications on 6,051 students. At this ceremony, degrees will be conferred and diplomas awarded in the Faculty of Education, a total of 568 in person, plus a further 126 in absentia. It is my great privilege as Chancellor to preside at autumn graduation for a third year. The scale and frequency of graduation ceremonies makes them no less special for the University and me personally than for those of you being capped here today, many for the first time. Graduation is a festive event, rich in history, pomp and colour, with a lively array of contemporary touches. Here in Auckland, our rich mix of cultures and ethnicities is evident in the striking variety of dress and adornments worn by the graduands. Today is one of hard-earned celebration by you, the graduands and diplomates, on your academic accomplishments, and by your family and friends who have encouraged and supported you through your studies and who are here to rejoice in your success. The University, represented by the Council and academic staff members seated behind me, and those many staff who control proceedings with remarkable precision, takes equal pleasure at this hugely significant day for each and every one of you. The University of Auckland is the only New Zealand university ranked in the top 1% of the world's universities. Your qualifications will always serve you well in New Zealand and abroad, whether in equipping you for a satisfying career or in leading to more advanced study, or simply as a route to personal and intellectual enrichment. In today's fast-changing world, more than ever, you cannot afford to stop learning. So please keep in mind the enormous range of postgraduate opportunities which this university offers. Whatever path you follow, I urge you as alumni of New Zealand's leading university always to remember your alma mater. We depend increasingly on our graduates for support, moral and political, as well as financial. Your advocacy and influence are vital in encouraging government and the community at large to fund universities so they can generate the knowledge needed to drive a productive and competitive economy and to create a full and satisfying life for New Zealanders. At the same time, philanthropy has become critically important to our university, funding major capital projects, scholarships and professorial chairs. The crucial contribution of major research universities such as ours is not well understood. Our innovative research is vital for long-term sustainable economic growth and social cohesion, never more so than in the difficult times New Zealand faces in the wake of the recession and the 2 Christchurch earthquakes. Universities equip graduates like you not simply for the jobs of today, but for future careers not yet imagined. Universities need greater investment by government, the commercial sector and private philanthropy, not less. But that's sufficient from me on the challenges facing academia. For today, unquestionably belongs to you, the graduands, and you are its prime focus. I congratulate you and trust that you will long cherish the enjoyment and excitement of your graduation in May 2011. Our guest speaker today is Dr. Jennifer Plain Te Pā, who has been a harangi or principal of Te Rau Kahikatea at St John's College, Auckland, since 1995. She is the first lay Indigenous woman ever to head an Anglican theological college. Of Te Raroa descent, Dr. Pā was the first Maori to complete a degree in theology from the University of Auckland, and in 1994 she gained a Master of Education with honours. For her PhD, awarded by the Graduate Theological Union in Berkeley, California, she wrote on race politics and theological education. She has since received honorary doctorates from the Episcopal Divinity School in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and Virginia Theological Seminary in Washington, in recognition of her contribution to global peace and justice through theological education. In 2008, the London Daily Telegraph named Dr. Te Pā 20th among its 50 most globally influential Anglicans, calling her an influential voice in Anglican liberal circles. Please welcome Dr. Jenny Plain Te Pā.
E oku tino rangatira kato me te whānau whānui mo tēnei rā whakahirahira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, members of Council, members of the University, graduands, families and friends, warm greetings on this singularly auspicious occasion for us all. I am deeply privileged by this invitation. I stand before you all as an immensely proud, distinguished alumna of this, my beloved University of Auckland. As I gaze out at those of you now simply so anxious to walk across the stage, I am filled with nostalgia as I recall my own first experience of graduation. There I sat, where all of you undergraduates are, with your very cute little fur-lined academic hoods. I was feeling then, as I imagine many of you now are, impatient to graduate, hugely relieved, and yet still somewhat incredulous that this deserved moment has finally come. Doubt-filled about whether or not one has the intellectual rigour to go on. Anxiety-filled, wondering about whether or not one can afford to go on. Please don't be dissuaded by anyone or anything. You can and you must go on if indeed you feel the vocational call of the Academy. To those of you now privileged with postgraduate degrees, I salute your tenacity, your sacrifices, and now your well-earned success. To you all, congratulations. Ngā mihi rangatira kia koutou katoa. Beyond the understandable introspection you are all doubtless experiencing, there was surrounding me, as I know is true for almost all of you, an outpouring of hugely important, deeply affectionate, irrepressible pride from those to whom you each matter so much. Even a cursory glance around this centre, now filled with the absolutely adoring smiles of your family and friends, is testimony to the abundance of personal affection and pride of which I speak. All of you about to be conferred degrees will be invited later in this awards ceremony to offer your loved ones your own tribute, and rightly so, for none of us ever succeeds alone, even though we journey often through what feel like places of profound aloneness. There are other university-based professional groups to whom generous tributes are also due, for they too comprise the totality of the great cloud of witnesses to your academic success. I invite you to notice the highly skilled librarians and researchers who have guided and advised you, and then all of the hard-working administrative staff who have assisted you over the years. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, there are these, all of my professional academic friends and colleagues on the stage behind me, for whom I will dare to speak in just a moment. May I briefly then, on your behalf, offer your grateful acknowledgement to all of the workers in the university's metaphoric vineyard. Let me turn then to the reason why we, as your professional academic friends and colleagues, are so especially proud of you. Put quite simply, it is because each and every one of you now, as a graduate of this university, represents to us and to the wider society a sign of profound hope. It is a hope that you will now recognise that your graduation accords you both a deserved reputation and an officially authorised capacity for reasoned and thus rational intellectual discourse and subsequent action. This reputation and capacity both positions and obligates you to join all other intellectuals in the ongoing task and responsibility of endeavouring to positively and productively influence the public square, to be bold, innovative, imaginative, creative, and compassionate thinkers and contributors to the betterment of the social, economic, political, and spiritual circumstances of all in the societies within which you will find your future careers. In summary, then, we are proud of you as graduates because we see in you now the potential as wonderfully well-educated people to make your individual contributions through the academic disciplines in which you have excelled in myriad different ways, to the betterment of the civil societies to which you each belong, whether here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, or beyond in the global villages from which many of you have come. In order, however, for your contributions to be truly and enduringly effective, there is need for you to recognise that intellectual excellence is but a portion of what is needed. The remaining portion, if you like, has to do with the reflected presence of those often less treasured human qualities of compassion, of kindness, of respect, indeed, of civic-minded virtue. For as Wendell Berry reminds us, the thing being made in a university is humanity. For what publicly supported universities are mandated to make or help to make is human beings in the fullest sense of those words, not just trained workers or knowledgeable citizens, but responsible heirs and members of human societies. Your relationship, therefore, with the university does not and ought not end today. Rather, to quote a former president of the University of Colorado, graduation does not mean the breaking of ties and the beginning of life apart. Rather, it marks your initiation in the fullest sense into the fellowship of the university, as bearers of her torch, as centres of her influence, as promoters of her spirit. By way of underscoring this poignant and enduring invitational reminder, I'm sure that many of you were as affected as I was by the words of the Bishop of London as he spoke to the newlyweds, Kate and William, last Friday. Allow me to paraphrase ever so slightly. The Bishop said, "We stand looking forward to a century which is full of promise and full of peril. We shall not be converted to the promise of the future by more knowledge alone, but also by an increase of loving wisdom and reverence for life, for the earth, and for one another." His message was, I believe, profoundly important, as I invite you to contemplate with me the extent to which, in our increasingly complex contemporary society, depersonalized forms of communication now too often masquerade as conversation, and where opportunity for simple, intimate acts of human kindness are subsequently either able to be avoided or their occasions are often so tragically reduced. We are, I believe, all at continued risk of diminishing the quality of our human relationships unless we commit to finding ways of reordering our priorities as irredeemably social, spiritual, mutually interdependent human beings. Human beings who are always instinctively protective and nurturing of the world created and entrusted into our care, and who are always instinctively drawn to other human beings for company, for solace, for sustenance, for shelter, and for sharing in the sweet taste of success. We here in this Aotearoa New Zealand part of the global community are privileged beyond imagining in so many ways in terms of the civil society we enjoy. Ours is one where reasonable dissent is appropriately enabled. Ours is one within which that rightly contested concept of tolerance is nonetheless promoted, where human rights are guaranteed, and ours is one within which pluralism finds a rightfully pragmatic response. Ours is a society known globally for its open and generally egalitarian moral and political climate. A strong, confident and humane intellectual class is necessary for the maintenance and strengthening of such a nurturing and free society, one in which all the citizens are enabled to participate and to contribute with unfettered freedom and generosity. The same prerequisite is so for all societies in the international sphere. Tragically, such is not always the case. My own work in the international realm over the past 2 decades or so has exposed me to some of the worst outcomes of the breakdown of civil societies in places such as Rwanda, Sri Lanka, the Congo, Kenya, the Solomon Islands, and for the longest period I have been involved in the seemingly intractable situation between Israel and Palestine. In fact, I am just back this very morning from an extended stay in the West Bank, working in Hebron and in the Arub refugee camp. While it would be utterly irresponsible of me to exploit this moment in terms of venturing a personal view of this last extremely complex political situation, what I will say is that I am ever more firmly of the belief that what is tragically lacking in this and in a number of the other troubled Middle Eastern countries currently experiencing extreme political turmoil are the more judicious voices of those blessed with astute intellect, with penetrating and yet compassionate analysis, those with political sagacity and spiritual wisdom. All of the culturally universal human qualities and capacities which university education ultimately affords. It is, following on from this assertion, and as my own professional experience attests, becoming more and more possible, and indeed I believe urgently desirable, for many more of us to develop skills and sensitivities which enable us to be effective boundary crossers. As one whose own scholarship remains concerned with advocating for the rights of all peoples, especially minorities, to have their life-giving and life-sustaining cultural traditions deeply respected and deeply honoured, I remain simultaneously insistent about the need for invoking fearless critique of many of the previously trenchant internal boundaries of ethnic, class and religious differences, with an eye to exposing their embedded injustices. I do not agree that the task of advocacy for or critique of is even arguably the sole preserve of members of minority groups themselves. As a simple theologian, I propose that either we are our sisters, brothers and keepers, or we are not. As a simple academic, I propose that single identity politics is probably one of the most dangerously unexamined ideological forces abroad in civil societies across the world. In other words, I consider it theologically and thus morally indefensible for me to say I couldn't possibly have anything to say on behalf of any victim in any society simply because they did not look like, think like, or speak like me. I so yearn for the day when the rigidly invoked boundaries of difference can no longer be held captive by the insider purists who would unreasonably insist that their cultural particularity in and of itself utterly precludes so-called outsider critique. In virtually all instances of especially aggressive rejection of outsider critique, there resides inherent authoritarian protectionism and thus the likelihood of embedded injustice within the group itself. My challenge, therefore, to you all as graduates is to imagine ways in which you might now use the gift of your academic degree for the betterment not only of the civil society within which you are now set to find your life and being, but possibly beyond that into the global sphere. To what extent might you now take courage in knowing you have both the reputation and the capacity for influencing the public square, not only in your homeland, but potentially those beyond? To what extent might you now be cognizant of human suffering, not only in your own homeland, but also potentially beyond its shores? And what of the myriad injustices which give rise to human suffering? Surely you would not now insist that these are not part of your portfolio. To what extent might you now be bold and charitable in your ongoing intellectual endeavours, having in mind that the common good for all in our societies is one hugely dependent upon those with the ability to coalesce the life of the mind, together with a deep aroha for all of life, indeed for all created beings. Now these, I know, are huge questions and possibly way too daunting for this very moment. But right now, as one of you, as your sister graduate of this, our University of Auckland, I feel I would be utterly remiss if I didn't challenge you to consider the most radical of future possibilities for yourselves, even as simultaneously and with very, very deep sincerity and pride, I stand before you in closing to wish you every possible blessing of happiness as you so deservedly now turn to formally participate in this, your very special day of graduation. Let me say again, congratulations to you all. Nō reira e te whānau whānui, kia maia, kia manawa nui, kia ora tātou katoa.
Well, thank you, Dr. Plain, for a very interesting address, and I'm sure the insightful and sensitive remarks and challenging remarks that you made will not have been lost on our graduates. This is a meeting of the Council in convocation of the University for a ceremony of conferring degrees. At this ceremony, the Pro-Chancellor Ian Parton and I will be conferring degrees and awarding diplomas. I now invite the Pro-Chancellor to award the diplomas and confer the degrees in the first half of this ceremony.
Thank you, Chancellor. By the authority vested in me by resolution of the University of Auckland Council, I, Ian Parton, Pro-Chancellor, confer the degrees and award the diplomas stated upon those who, within their faculty, have satisfied the requirements of this university. I
call upon the Dean of the Faculty of Education, Associate Professor Aitken, to present graduands in that faculty.
Pro-Chancellor, as Dean, I have the honour of presenting to you the students qualified for the award of a diploma or conferment of a degree in the Faculty of Education. Diploma of Teaching, Early Childhood, Pacific Islands. Se fululua si aopo. Graduate Diploma in Education, Rosemary Ann Adusa. Dorothy Gayleen Brown. Andrew James Bunn. Jennifer Elizabeth Corbett. Kirsten Jane Cuthbertson. Anjan Kumar Das. Janine Fitzgerald. Diane Susan Fleck. Raywin Jean Garalja. Carol Hillevi Jones. Bridget Helen Mabin. Lynette Wesley Rowe. Graduate Diploma in Special Education, Erin Marie Acast. Joanne Wilhelmina Laurencia Brennan. Marta Bernardina Maria Cullen. Christine Mary Darby. Vasuki Martha Vasivam. Carol McLennan. Hannah Joan Randall. Graduate Diploma in Teaching Secondary, Elise Ann Odette Akar. William Joel Mitchell Adam. Waianga Hoi Amo. Malcolm Kushlau Ali. Jonathan Andrew Peter Allfree. Josephine Apello. Brendan Craig Austin. Danielle Louise Ball. Nicola Jane Ball. Jared Henry Banham. Julie Ann Barrick. Tessa Joy Burbeck. Peter John Bissett. Kelly Margaret Blakely. Andrew James Bramston. Philip Graham Brown. Maria Vyacheslavovna Braleva. Jesse David Buchan. Catherine Jean Buckland. Amanda K. Burnett. Leslie Ann Burton. Blair Alexander Campbell. Pratika Dashani Shand. Olivia Georgina Joy Chapman. James Hiddeney Coates. Benjamin James Coop. Zara Simone Coop. Sophie Lee Cunningham. Rachel Jane Daddy. Megan Rose Cohen DeLuca. Susanna Eleda D. Naomi Shan Decker. Tessa Marie Donahue. Carol Dew. Peter James Duffy. Laura Jane Deinhoven. Birgit Else Hildegard Agoroff. Mose Etuati. Madeline Louise Everard. Raymond Errol Featherston. Takako Fujiwara. Emma Rita Gillies. Natish Nan Gaunda. Jodie Almond Grasby. Thomas Matthew Greentree. Robert Peter Griffiths. Rosemary Claire Gunn. Roxanne Jennifer Hanvey. Angela Teremoana Hayes. Sharon Lee Hebden. Ari Volkert Hillendoom. Andrea Susan Henson. Willa Mary Henvest. Aaron Herber. David Lester Hoffman. Nikita Hughes. Natalie Jane Hugel. Wesley Anthony Loto Hukui. Wing Tai Hung. Ione Ione. Catherine Elizabeth Jenkin. So Yoon Kang. Melanie Jane Keane. Da Hei Kim. Jacob Byung Sung Kim. Micah Loy Lapitke. Vyacheslav Krasenikov. Inski Kuperus. Jessica Lee Lamas. Sarah Louise Lane. Krista Rose Langell. Mark Eric Loriano. Chang Sayak Lee. Anastasia Rose Lamalu. Anna Renee Leyland. Mingjuan Penny Lin. Stephanie Joanne Little. Hannah Elizabeth Lockie. Katrina Maria Lynch. Rachel Katie Lynn. Boyan Madzonarov. Felicity Rosamond Laura Main. Murray James Maguire Barnes. Bridget Grace McKechnie. Camille Sylvia McKelvey. Anne McNamara. Miriam Grace Monet Kent. Amy Ellen Moorcroft. Kelly Ursula Morrison. Malufo Mulipula. Christine Aitrana Murti. Michael Terrell Nahu. Sri Laxmi Signa Naduri. Sioni Latu Paya. Ana Pahulu. Melissa Louise Parsons. Karina Emily Penatito. Bernard Perry Penamaka. Michelle Jane Perkins. Maria Fatima Pese. Krista Louise Petrenko. Shada Pillay. Daniel Lewis Mansell Powell. Mervyn Clyde Ashwell Pretorius. Anna Louise Ray. No. Sarah Louise Ransley. Rokura Moira Mel Ratapu. Gabrielle Shannon Reid. Felicia Ann Renaud. Jenna Moana Riley. Karen Elizabeth Roberts. Aidan Charles Salmon. Hilary Katrina Sheffer. Elizabeth June Scott. Raywin Jia Wen Seto. Priya Sewak. Ravinish Kumar Sharma. Mubsha Shahzad Sheikh. Amy Yongming Shen. Kranish Kavinish Singh. Shiman Singh. Jennifer Catriona State. Sonia Helen Stephen. Tig Timothy Thomas Stopford. Jubilee Junior Suli Fili. Mary Therese Clarraine Nabel Suva. Kolatito Lose Taimani. Jackson Tan. Charlie Te. Angela Jane Turnant James. Justine Lee Terrell. Megan Lee Bond Trainer. Vaiari Bryce Tuhua. Damish Tahir Uma. Grant Van Ensem. Maya Miranda van Oldenburg. Kwatiswara Rao Vanaguntla. Lauren Kelly Wallace. Felicia Rosemary Ward. Jessica Robin Weller. Ano Kihisia White. Harvey David White. Jamie Ann Laura White. Frederick John Wilkins. Luke James Williams. Mark Joseph Williams. Emma Catherine Wilson. Fabia Carey Wilson. Christy Annalise Wilson. Wen Kai Wu. Dragana Yelovich. Yufai Yung. Graduate Diploma in Teaching English in Schools to Speakers of Other Languages. Kimberly Alice Anketel. Lorraine Rhoda Austin. Lorraine Emily Mercy Covenden. Taimanaolu Pulomeo Fa'aia. Emily Kate Gogolinsky. Ambure Marie Gaboris. Lisa Mary Hennessy. Sonia Rosabelle Johnston. Renee Malcolm Kippen. Jacqueline Lindsay. Natasha Helen Mann. Therese Kathleen Randall McClintock. Chandana Sadananda Rao. Janet Mary Rothery. Sibongile Temperance Shabalala. George Subarayan. Christina May Thompson. Sally Marie Traynor. Hine Peggy Viskovich. Stefan Liang Zhao. To the degree of Bachelor of Education, teaching English to speakers of other languages. Nurul Akma Abdul Aziz bin Othman. Zarina Abdul Malik. Audrey Asian. Nurhiraj Amat Suang bin Abdullah. Muhammad Ashraf Badli bin Hamsan. Connolly Chundi Belawan Anak Daud. Fatan Aquila Ghazali. Noizati Binti Hassan. Nurliana Marisa Ismail. Faris bin Mansour. Fairuz Safira Muhammad. Amy Zulaika Muhammad Ali. Shazana Muhammad Dawood. Noshafawuti Ruwaidu Muhammad Sukri. Nurul Hanisha Norazan bin Muhammad Noor. Xia Wei Ong. Aimi Shahira Saleh. Wan Nur Miza Wan Mohammed Yunus. To the degree of Bachelor of Education Teaching, Kamia Jane Adamson. Sarah Henga Amosa. Julie Fye Anderson Johns. Kirsten Elizabeth Anderson McGee. Deborah Jean Andrews. Melissa Angela Aris. Laurel Gemma Armitage. Erin Marie Armstrong. Rachel Nolene Ashton. Bhavika Pravina Babu. Gabrielle Jane Badham. Samara Jane Baker. Lauren K. Baldwin. Claire Elizabeth Bailey. Stephanie Jane Beresford Duncan. Jessica Patricia Bertelson. Sarah Jane Black. Melissa Amy Bond. Brooke Danica Bowden. Kate Marie Bowden. Fleur Bracey. Nicole Braganza. Hayley Marie Brass. Marisa Rose Bromhead. Rebecca Valerie Bryan. Amina Baksh. Kelsey Ann Burgess. Erin Jane Burke. Sabrina Elizabeth Maureen Burton. Kim Janelle Busby. Bennett Jean Beryl Calvin. Deirdre Patricia Callagher, Senior Scholar in Primary Education. Stephanie Patricia Carroll. Aritu Tangata Elizabeth Cassidy. Sanita Gwen Chimi. Ray Chen. Sarah Kate Chittenden. Yang Hun Cho. Shelley Ann Clark. Iona Jane Clark. Lauren Patricia Clough. Hayley Christine Cochrane. Lindley Ann Collis. Glenn David Cowan. Amy Christine Craddock. Danielle Melissa Craighead. Sarah Annie Mae Croft, Senior Scholar in Primary Education. Georgina Grace Crook, Senior Scholar in Primary Education. Sahir Youssef Ahmad Dabur. Lisa Devi Dam. Lana Davids. Brendan James Davison. Sophie Pa'u Day. Craig Lemnos Robert the Jews. Helen Jane Dibley. Adrian Margaret Joyce Dines. Rochelle Alice Dixon. Natalie Virginia Dougal. Maria Doris de Souza. Philippa Joyce Duncan. Amanda Louise Elliott. Kylie Leonore Urse. Lena Fahamamafa. Fatupaito Peter Fatupaito. Avril Evelyn Fortune.
Thank you, Pro-Chancellor, for conferring the degrees and awarding the diplomas in the first half of this ceremony. One of the great pleasures of graduation is the opportunity to hear performances by students from our acclaimed School of Music. Grace Francis on piano will now perform Desperate Measures, Paganini Variations Opus 48 by Robert Murginski. I think Robert Musinski, he was a contemporary American composer, and if I'm right, he's so contemporary he only died within the last year. Unlike some of his contemporaries, that is actually a very accessible and fresh piece, and it was beautifully played by Grace. Can I ask you to show your appreciation again? Each year we have memorable performances like that, one by students from our School of Music, and if you would like to hear further performances by them, you are invited to the graduation concert, which will be held at 7:30 p.m. this Thursday in the Town Hall. Admission is free. By the authority vested in me by resolution of the University of Auckland Council, I, Roger France, Chancellor, confer the degrees and award the diplomas stated upon those who within their faculty have satisfied the requirements of this university.
To the degree of Bachelor of Education Teaching, Abigail Rosanna Francis. Jessica Hannah Fryer. Gemma K. Fuglastola. Karen Rachel Grace Gardner. Kelly Ray Garrick. Sarah Jane Capel Garrett. Laura Marie George. Jane Mary Elizabeth Ginders. Veronica Ann Gittos. Vicky Sheehan Glenn. Portia Annabella Graveston. Victoria Marita Greening. Sarah Jane Kate Gregory. Matthew John Gross. Chloe Ann Guthrie. Kim Leo Halavato. Joyce Mary Harrison. Joanne Emma Harvey. Chrissy Nicole Hick. Hui Bing Hing. Lauren Elaine Hitchin. Gia Fan Huang. Ashley Francis Hodge. Gail Robin Hoffman. Lichuan Hollis. No. Emma Carly Howell. Rebecca Louise Hopkins, Senior Scholar in Early Childhood Education. Leodinelle Rose Hopkinson. Lauren Selina Horsfall. Emma Jean Howard. Rashida Hudson. Kelly Rochelle Hunter. Diane Mary Hazel Highland. Sarah Alice Hindman. Laura Ann Johns. Nikki Leah Jones. Amy Elizabeth Kane. Jung Yoon Kim. Nicole Jennifer King. Sally Kerman. Abigail Hoban Knowles. Denise Marie Cornia. Tiana Contakos. Willow Ursula Koperu. Sonia Kate Kraus. Sanjeev Kumar. Taryn Louise Lang. Elizabeth Catherine Lapish. Pauline Takiama Otokolo Latu. Ione Ataata Lafili. Gaida Jean Lawrence, Senior Scholar in Early Childhood Education. Alison Maria Lawson. Kerry Malama Leaf, Senior Scholar in Primary Education. Jasmine Lok Yi Lee. Carol Bianca Leota. Sarah Louise Lester. Peter Levave. Samantha Kate Lockett. Donna Marie Love. Amelia Edwina Myrtle McNabb. Joanne Sophie Malone. Dylan Blair Marshall. Cara Leah Masters. Sarah Elizabeth Mason Oksuka. Waitangi Matau. Sharon Mary McComb. Diana Margaret McCurgo. Kirsten Elise McNabb. Joel Douglas McNichol. Thomas Kendrick Milne. Jacqueline Tawairoa Miru. Nisha Shushila Mistry. Shaman Malik Mistry. Evan Monkman. Lauren Jane Morfitt. Dihan Y. Morgado. Matthew Sebastian James Morris. Nikita Janice Morrow. Leonie Petrina Eileen Motu. Amy Louise Mules. Fiona Delise Monday. Natasha Nicole Mutu. Mame Monticello Nakario. Tanita Naidu. Morris Manurai Nelson. Sarah Elizabeth Nelson. Emma Marie Newport. Ona Hikinga Pur Rankin. Ben Stephen Nightingale. Jennifer Lee Nind. Verity Sylvia Norton. Nikki Laura Oates. Lauren Therese O'Hanlon. Esther Marie O'Neill. Sarah Miriam Orbell. Alex Louise Osbaldeston. Samantha Louise Paget. Maria Papuni. Nareen Kaur Paha. Christina Tomulu Patia, a graduate and a graduate diploma in teaching English to speakers of other languages. Dashana Ashok Patel. Charlotte Louise Pate. Elise Claire Paul. Parishina Krasali Paul. Sophie Ann Peach. Victor Imola Peach. Andrea Petch. Diana Claire Philippe, Senior Scholar in Early Childhood Education. Carly Jane Phillips. Vanashri Pillay. Singa Anne-Louise Pittany. Lina Peter. Sweta Sunaina Prasad. Alexandra Jean Prosser. Tasani Megan Plukowski. Anna Marie Catherine Raybone. Samantha Charmaine Radu. Christina Louise Rains. Avichal Navdeep Raj. Juanita Romero Ramirez. Jacob Graham Seth Rice. Josefina Serrano Richards. Chelsea Joan Robertson. Nicole Jade Roberts York.
No, Rebecca.
Ambra Margaret Ralston. Jane Marie Rompelberg. Kataraina Arahanui Ropati. Deanna Margaret Rusick. Fatoume Saidi. Manaya Samo. Marianne Leopold Schwenk. Catherine Grace Scripps. Carolyn Ann Seals. Kerith Ann Seaman. Vienna Setu. Serena Nazman Shafiq. Vatiatia Siitia, Senior Scholar in Pacifica. Tabitha Dawn Simmons. Ramjot Singh. Sally Ann Sketcher. Janet Skidmore. Stacey Bronwyn Skinner. Holly Marie Skipper. Jessica Ray Sleeman. Natasha Marie Smith. Deborah Patricia Marie Snowsall. Keely Spriggs Wheatley. Kaishini Sivapriya Srivendra Raja. Alicia Margaret Stacey. Paula Rose Stevens. Rochelle Lynette Stewart. Amanda Jane Sterling. Colleen Eva Stott. Taino Sua Levy. Moira Bernadette Surgru. Kimberly Elizabeth Sullings. Nadia Suri Antyo. Dawn Kathleen Tafford. Lorena Lamoma Nonga Tahafa Tangamaka Talangi. Nita Dian Tango. Joanne Tangata Main Taomea. Patricia Tawariki. Elise Julie Taylor. Cecilia Janine Tapania. Naomi Talafu Teta. Larissa Ann Thompson. Lisa Gay Thompson. Sheldon Kyla Ashley Thompson. Alexandra Mary Tiley. Alana Beverly Till. Kim Renee Timmins, Senior Scholar in Primary Education. Ginseng Tong. Whakahe tōwhi. Ivonga Agnes Tufala. Winnie Annabelle Wakolo Tuibenau. Afera Malo Tunifai Pualau. Joseph Latu Tupo Veha. Catherine May Elliott Vallant. Amanda Lee Waddell. Grace Ann Walker. Jennifer Rosalie Margaret Walker. Angela Mary Wall. Hayden Philip Walsh. Lena Marie Walton. Christine Dorothy Warner, Senior Scholar in Primary Education. Mia Elizabeth Wheeler. Elise Holly Whenuaroa. Melanie Frances Ann Whittam. Desiree Benita Wakaira. Janine Belinda Wilcock. Rera Paherera o Tutai William. Jesse James Williams. Karina Marie Williams. Sarah Marie Williams. Christina Wilson. Sandy Lee Woolsey. Hayden John Frederick Wright. Rebecca Ying Tung. To the degree of Bachelor of Social Work, Vivian Puika Chow. Helen Margaret Jones. Gordon Lowe. Jessica Adele Mitchell. Rachel Louise Pascoe. Pamela Kelly Ryder. Atia Syed. Saolalangi Vahainui Lasi Va'ailua. Olavata. Postgraduate Diploma in Educational Leadership with Merit. Martin Joseph Hett. Deborah Ann Keung. Mark Daniel John Robinson. Postgraduate Diploma in Educational Leadership, Sandra Ann Fraser. Ashish Prasad Gautam. Postgraduate Diploma in Professional Supervision with Distinction, Jacqueline Margaret Mary McFarlane. Matthew Rankin. To the degree of Bachelor of Education Teaching Honours with First Class Honours, Annette Marie Duxfield. Monique Dorothy Elizabeth Hamlin. To the degree of Bachelor of Education Teaching Honours with Second Class Honours, First Division, Angela Janet Lane. Kelly Joan McLean. Bridget Valenzuela Ofracio. Christina Yvonne Post. Susan Marie Thomason. To the degree of Bachelor of Education Teaching Honours with Second Class Honours, Second Division, Shireen Margaret Bailey. Rachel Terry Barnett. Stephanie Hannah Burgess. Sarah Ann Louise Drewbay. Nicole Sarah Lewis. Jamie Lee McCafferty. To the degree of Bachelor of Social Work Honours with First Class Honours, Emma Joanne Fogarty. To the degree of Bachelor of Social Work Honours with Second Class Honours, First Division, Grace Christine Baston. To the degree of Master of Education with First Class Honours, Robin Bonner and a Graduate Diploma in Education. Jane Mary Cameron. Barbara Joy Hannant. Denise Annette Quack in Counselling. Peggy Ann Lockyer. Lynette Elizabeth Sherman. Vicky Adrian Smith. Petronella Louise Townsend. Catherine Margaret Zellis. To the degree of Master of Education with Second Class Honours, First Division, Jennifer Desiree Bernard. Daniel Hayden Dyer. Marie Elizabeth Flannery. Linda Rose Fraser. Andrew Ian Milne and a postgraduate diploma in education with merit. Bashad Matfar Mutfar. To the degree of Master of Education with Second Class Honours, Second Division, Yu Ling Chen in Counselling. To the degree of Master of Education, Janzing Marie Kapia Hohua. Bathsheba Rosalia Malo Tofilo. Lucy Wells. To the degree of Master of Professional Studies with Second Class Honours, First Division, Marie Louise Alice Broad. Mark Rodney Edwards. Min Thieu View and a postgraduate diploma in education.
I now call upon the Vice-Chancellor to present the doctoral graduands.
Chancellor, I have the honour of presenting to you the doctoral graduates. To the degree of Doctor of Education, Kim Jewel Elliott. Kim's research investigated health teachers' beliefs about and experiences of spirituality in secondary school-based sexuality education, with particular reference to Te Whare Tapa Whā, an Indigenous holistic model of health. The research is applicable to and significant for school-based health education, the development of health and education policy, the relationship of non-Indigenous people with Indigenous languages and concepts, and to the development of spiritual research as methodology. Kim. Rosemary Elizabeth Longy. Roe investigated the nature of the bullying that occurs within the friendship groups of Year 10 girls in secondary schools from the perspective of girls who had experienced such relational aggression. Rosemary. Margaret Mary Tauriri. Margaret investigated the structural role that careers advisors played in exerting a negative or positive influence on Māori students and their access to university. She identified the role that personal agency of careers advisors had for many of the students' subsequent life choices. Margaret. To the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Claire Hoskins in Education. Te Kawaho investigated possibilities for ethical political relationships between Māori and non-Māori through a case study of a school Treaty of Waitangi co-governance arrangement. Her research is instructive for Māori school community development, Māori school relationships, and for the theorisation of cross-cultural political practice in a range of sites. Robert Keith Shaw in Education. Robert investigated the nature of truth in secondary school physics teaching, drawing on the philosophical ideas of Martin Heidegger. This inquiry leads to a new formulation of pedagogy for science education. Janice Wardman in Education, University Doctoral Scholar. Janice's research found full-year acceleration, when appropriately supported, is unequivocally positive for moderately and deeply gifted students. The long-term benefits for the students, their families and New Zealand are profound. And in absentia, all those other persons named in the Book of Convocation qualified for the conferment of a degree or award of a diploma in the Faculty of Education.
On behalf of the University, I invite all today's graduates to stand and receive the congratulations of us all. And this is probably the perfect opportunity for the graduates to show their appreciation of their families and supporters and the staff of the university who have helped them as they achieve their qualifications. This concludes this meeting of Council and Convocation of the University for the conferment of degrees and the award of diplomas. I now invite you to sing the first verse of God Defend New Zealand in Maori and then in English. The words are printed on the reverse of your programs.